This is a private academy. It is rumored that the school was built on a cemetery, so there are several graves around the school. We now meet Jay. She is the manager of the female dormitory and knows well. These peaceful days are thanks to the work of a hero. That person is currently fighting alone in a very far place, and there is no one to support. And that person is the main character, Suji. He has great strength and is fighting alone against an army of zombies. Just to protect this Cho mausoleum, the zombies seem to be aiming for some kind of treasure. In the mausoleum, Susie notices that these zombies come every day, and they don't seem to know what giving up means. The zombies see Susie and appear a guy, then rush madly. Sujin alone stirred up the formation of the zombies and doesn't know himself how long he has been fighting like this. He only hopes that one day this war will end and he will be able to return. To know what happened, we go back to a year ago. Sujin at this time is an orphan student and has to both work and go to school. He works as a lifeguard at the pool, but the sad thing is that he doesn't know how to swim, so he simply does cleaning every time the pool closes. But the bullies don't leave him alone. They are always annoyed with him, just because he is a poor student. So they threw his cat into the pool. And in a moment of thoughtlessness, Susie jumped down and was drowned under there. When he woke up, his friend Jian-su told Susie about the matter. He wanted to come to his rescue, but when he arrived, he saw that he had been saved by a young lady who was pursued by many people, but all failed. Ray. Ray is the daughter of the vice president of a large corporation, and to put it briefly, Ray and Vansu are the only two people who care about Suji in this school. Therefore, at present, he is determined to fight just to be able to return to Jae Sujin's side. He then clashed with the giant monsters. He quickly summoned a bunch of giant crosses to transcend these guys, but they could no longer be saved. So Susie will have to find another way to destroy these guys once and forever. Return to a year ago. There is a young couple planning to go too far near the cemetery so as not to be disturbed by anyone. They accidentally saw Sujin and the cat, but because it was dark, both of them thought Sujin was a ghost, so they ran away. He is just doing cleaning work to earn money. He finds this security job because he gets to enjoy the peace and quiet. Plus, the weather is cool, and he also gets to steal electricity to use comfortably. He then went into the game. And although in real life he is a bit useless in the game, Susie is a true pro when he can defeat the strong boss of the game without charging, without teammates, with only himself, along with the crappy items that the game gives. Susie also climbed to the top of the server by himself. On any free night, Susie plays games. Suddenly today, when Sujin just arrived at the new dungeon, he accidentally saw a girl in trouble. He helped and defeated the boss for her, and was thanked by her. The girl then introduced herself as Ray Susie. Before he could introduce himself, suddenly the computer crashed, so Susie had to climb up the lamppost to reconnect the electricity. At this moment, the window cord was opening and showing off to her friend about the person who just helped her, and accidentally she met Susie, thinking he was peeping. So Ray's friends threw the pillow at his face, causing Susie to fall from the lamppost. The next day, while wiping the glass door and feeling that he was a bit careless when he let himself be misunderstood, Susie saw Ray and realized she was the character in the game that he met last night. It is known that her family is the company that released this game. Ran-su suddenly appeared and reminded him of the class difference between the two, making Sujin feel a bit disappointed because he is just a poor guy. How can he reach a star and is an idol of the whole school like her? He understands that, so he intends to give up. But suddenly, that night, we sent a friend request to him. Susie agreed quickly and then fought with Jay for many months. He thought those moments were just a dream, until Jay said she wanted to meet him in real life. But Susie couldn't fulfill it because in real life he is always busy with a lot of part-time jobs to make a living. He still recognizes the difference in status, like heaven and earth between the two, so he just wants to be next to Jay, even in the game, just to be able to see her. he wishes he could always be with. And look at her like this. But suddenly, one day, the game suddenly announced it would stop releasing activities. Susie, after hearing that news, was very painful. For Susie, this news is no different from the end of the world. He doesn't pay attention to anything around him anymore because the only place he is next to the person he likes has completely disappeared. Meanwhile, Ray's father came to the academy and handed Ray an item so that in case of trouble, she should follow the instructions in it. Ray doesn't understand what her father means, but he thinks she doesn't need to worry, because this is just in case. Father is about to complete a new game, and the previous game that Jay and Soo-jin played was just a trial version. He believes that the new game will surpass reality and change the world. It will be a realistic game that surpasses reality. He also hopes his daughter will soon find her life partner, making her blush because she knows her father has been monitoring her through the game. Her and Susie. All that day, he was completely devastated. Ran-soo came to remind Soo-ji that even if the game closes, he still has a chance to be with Jay in real life. But Susie just left because he thinks Jay doesn't even know his face. In real life, he at this time is no different from someone who is in unrequited love. Yasuo also doesn't want to do anything more because he knows Susie will recover from the ashes. Susie then tried to get back to work. That night, Jay went into the game first and waited for Susie. Players don't understand the reason why the game was stopped from being released. Some people have spent a lot of money on the game, so they are quite regretful that the game is stopped. They then passed on to each other about a type of flower that can grant wishes, so they think that if there is such a thing, it will prevent the game from being stopped. But they still only think it is a legend and decide to have fun for the rest of the time. Finally, Susie now enters the game and goes to meet Ray. There is only 1 week left before the game completely closes, so both of them decide to spend this time to enjoy the rest together. Susie notices this is probably also a small comfort for him before his boring life continues a guy, because he is probably just one of the many friends that Ray has. Not long after he heard about the matter, Jay wants to find that wish-granting flower, so he promised to help her. After a week, the new game was released. The new game allows players to play the role of a grave robber, and to help players, the publisher has added a mechanism. Peter Wynn is true to his name. The more money you spend, the stronger you are. Susie is now completely depressed, when now there is nothing that makes him happy in this life anymore. That night was the last day of the game, and the game also knows how to keep players when allowing to transfer all assets in this test game to the newly released game. Jay's father is still waiting for someone to find the wish flower, and he still believes that someone will do it. Soo-jin at this moment tried to run as fast as possible to enter the game, and then fell in the middle of the road while Jay was trying to find the flower. But her father was approached by a female assassin, and she wanted to know how to enter the tomb in the newly released game because he was the last tomb guardian of the game. While in the game, a monster appeared. This guy took all the players' equipment and even swallowed them. They tried to resist. But when Suzine entered the game, there was only Jay and the wreckage left. Ray meets Suzine a guy, and she was very sorry for not finding the wish flower. But suddenly, the flower in her hand bloomed. And that was the flower they were looking for. Not long after, Jay was also eaten by that monster. And then the game stopped. But luck hasn't abandoned Soo-jin yet. The next morning, he met Ray in person. She knew that Soo-jin was the one who had been by her side all this time. Soo-jin was very sad for not being able to save her in the last moment. But Jay gave him a chance to do it again. In the new game, that morning, the whole country was stirred by the incident. Jay's father was assassinated and passed away. Suzine heard the news from Yasuo and rushed to find Jay to see how she was doing. He came to the women's dormitory and heard that Jay had moved out because of some funeral issues. So the company's people came and took her away. Everyone felt sorry for Jay because she loved her father very much. At the funeral, many people kept talking about Jay. Some said her father owed money everywhere, and from now on Jay probably will be very miserable. Team 5 Technical praised his contribution to the game and promised to ensure his last game. a resounding success. Suddenly, an image of Jay's father appeared in Soo Jin's head. He realized that he seemed to be acquainted with him. The next day, Ray came back to see Soo Ji. She apologized for bothering him. She felt better and needed to give him something. He opened it to see, and inside was a device that Jay's father made to play the new game. This thing recognized Soo Ji and registered him into the system. He still didn't understand what was happening and why this thing was given to him. To be honest, she was not his biological child, but was adopted, so she didn't know anything about her father. Suddenly, the servant came to inform Jay that she had a guest, while Susie was waiting. System. After loading, he was shocked when the amount of money he had was 10 billion, along with a message from Jay's father to him, saying that he was Jay's adoptive father and his biological grandfather, but he probably doesn't remember. The reason he gave him this amount of money was because he wanted him and Jay to have a happy life. He was surprised because happiness suddenly fell on his head. He said Jay's biological parents were murdered, and because he was an acquaintance, he adopted her. He wanted him to use this money to protect Jay from the enemy. Suddenly, Jay was being harassed by two guys. Suzine ran down and wanted them to let Jay go. He was beaten up by them, and Jay agreed to be taken away because she wanted them to stop hitting Suzine. He held back and said he would pay the debt instead. He rushed upstairs and then was stunned when the money in the game could not be exchanged for real money. Ray was taken away, and she was also grateful that he tried to save her. She will remember him wherever she is. He couldn't lose her, so he rode his bike to chase after them. Ray opened the door to try to reach for him. Suzine also rushed trying to grab her, but the two guys brake, causing him to lose his balance. Rushed up and fell in the middle of the road. Suddenly, a ghost-like figure appeared in the car. When Suzine caught up, the car had overturned. The two guys were unconscious, and the ghost sent him a message that Team Eugene is waiting, and then took Ray away. He helplessly returned to his room and didn't understand what had happened. What was the game his grandfather created, and where did that guy take Ray? Suddenly, a girl appeared from the device and called him Master. She said her name was Star, and then took him straight into the game. He was taken to a desert, and Star turned back into two small spirits. There was also a gang preparing to go tomb raiding. Suddenly, at Soo Jin's place, another monster emerged from under the sand. Long ago, there was a goddess who used her life to create other living beings. Because of exhaustion, the goddess fell asleep and left behind a great power. Back to the present, the creature that just emerged, Star entered the device because she thought she was just a guide. So there was no obligation to fight. The creature wanted to see if Soo Jin was worthy of being the next Tomb Guardia or not, but he didn't care, so it assumed that he didn't want to save Ray anymore. Suzine immediately turned back, and suddenly, the Tomb Raiders started attacking. Because they missed, the next shot would take another 5 minutes to reload. A girl in the group, the Tomb Raider, decided to make a Diversio, and the Guardian said if he could defeat the Tomb Raiders now, then he would be recognized. He accepted the challenge, and the Guardian released a girl named Sosha. She also called him Master and gave him a kiss, which made him remember more memories of his grandfather. He knew his grandfather gave him this scarf. Seeing that he remembered, the Guardian revealed his identity, and that was his grandfather. He was still alive in here. He said he had many different identities, but his real identity was still his grandson. Suddenly, the Tomb Raiders started attacking. The girl went first, and a swarm of centipedes came, making Soo Jin and his grandfather run for their lives. The three of them ran inside Robot Guardia, and he designed this thing for self-defense. But that girl launched an attack that split the Robot Guardian in half. The thing is, that wasn't the main one. The real robot was inside the secret weapon he made. But it was no different from a target to be captured. The sniper in the distance also took aim and shot off one of the robot's legs first. The situation was difficult, so Sosha and Soo Jin had to draw their guns and aim at the sniper and gave him a shot. But the team leader used a mirror to redirect the shot. She took out the club card to hypnotize Sosha. to make her shoot randomly at the club symbols. She saw Soo-jin stop her because there was only one bullet left. The girl in the lead continued to shoot outside and let the centipedes invade. His data after that also gradually disappeared, and he told him to protect the goddess's tomb because that would lead him to saving Jay. And at the same time, he was also the last tomb guardia. He was angry after his grandfather's departure, so he rode a centipede outside and then used Sosha's current state to make her aim at him. The girl in the lead was hit, and he also adjusted the bullet directio to reflect back at the team leader. As for the sniper, he tried to shoot back, but he also used these diamond cards to reflect them. He completed the test and was worthy of being a guardia. Sosha also fulfilled her duty to him, so she took him to another space and said goodbye to him here. Soo-jin then met a girl, and she claimed that she was the real guardia and shot him. He woke up and found himself back in reality, and the wound also disappeared. He received a call from someone claiming to be Tamuzi. This guy wanted to meet him, Sue, and showed him a picture of Jay, so you know she's still safe. In the meantime, the tomb raiding group from before has now brought their big boss along. They're sitting here waiting for the naive but rich kids to pass by and then commit robbery. Soo-jin at this time went to the library to study more and prepare for the exam. But it's a game exam. Yasuo introduced him to a friend who used to be a beta tester. As for the tomb raiding group, the two girls approached the students who haven't experienced life yet, and as soon as they saw the beautiful sister asking for help to fight monsters, they blindly followed, and Soo-jin went to investigate more information about this game. You know, the game has a leader named Dark Tiger, and is also the leader of the organizatio with a huge fortune. They control the entire game. At the same time, steal items and money from other players. And the organizatio fighting against them is the group of a guy named Tamuzi. This guy is also quite dangerous when ready to kill everything. You worry the rope is about to be killed while eating around. Meanwhile, Rei is still imprisoned, and Tugin wants her to feel at home, because soon she won't want to leave here anymore. Back to the tomb raiders. They lured the naive students into a trap with just a few sweet words. When they fell into the trap, these kids threatened to report, but get out of here first, then we'll talk. The big boss guy jumped down and showed off a few things and called himself the Wild Wolf. Soo-jin went to Jay's room, but his friend didn't know where Jay was and hoped she was okay. And Soo-jin realized she always valued him and kept his character figure on the computer. As for the Wild Wolf's tomb raiding group, they just got a grant from the new players, but have money. The girl used a trick to ask the leader to stop blabbing about the bad things if he doesn't want to be reported. They found someone who looked miserable, so they asked about him. Meanwhile, the girl in Tugin's group wants him to release the rope, but he thinks the rope is still very valuable. The tomb raiders came to ask and found out that recently a strong person appeared equal to the Great Pillar, and that person is a Woma. She has robbed all the wealth of the people belonging to the strongest gang in the game. This group then went to trap new players, a guy, to steal money from those people, because when they run out of money, their stats will also run out and they will be kicked out of the game. He just got money from someone when the girl shot. Soo-jin came. The group all used their skills and her, but she dodged them all and was still surrounded. She dropped her gun and created a cage lock. The three people. The wolf was isolated, and he was scared, and intended to hand over the weapon to her. She just turned away when he stabbed her, because his weapon allows him to steal money from the opponent, but only from people with less money. He thought his 50 million was a lot, but she is one of the $5 billion players, so she dropped a whole gold bar on his head, and Soo-ji is now fully prepared and ready to enter the game. Star brought him Eye, and this time he must bring the rope back. And the group wondered who that billion-dollar girl was, and she said she is the Collector 10, and is the one who will face the organization of the guy Dag Tiger. The leader turned back to Soo-ji. He came to a place called the Duel of Death. He met a boy climbing the wall outside. Because the boy didn't have money to enter the door, he took this boy by air. And he only came here because he wanted to meet the tournament organizer. The entrance fee is too expensive, so this way is more convenient. Basically, he's used to using free stuff. Soo-jin found the tournament organizer. But the match below has also Baegu. The participant is the blonde guy from the tomb raiding group. This guy is trying to keep his distance and create a lot of ice to wrap this warrior guy up. But the boy doesn't let anyone wee, so he used magic to tie up Star and drop them both down. Soo-jin crushed the blonde guy to death, so he and the boy were chosen as challengers for the prize. The boy apologized for dragging him, but the boy really needs that money to save someone. His sister is the most important person in the world. The two of them joined this game together. But now his sister is sick, and the boy wants to use the prize money here. To save his sister, the boy's power is using pictures to replace attack moves. And with each move, the memories in the picture will gradually disappear. But the boy doesn't care as long as he can save his sister. But even with the sacrifice, it's useless. So Soo-jin stopped him and wants him to cherish the memories with his sister. And if the boy needs to win, he will help. He hasn't even completed the newbie quest. Everyone thinks he's a noob. He just kept dodging and then still got hit by the Viking guy's move and got frozen in place. SA stood up to shield him, and she decided to transform to show him her strength, but she transformed into 2 cotton balls by mistake, so she was caught and played with by the Viking guy. The boy stood up to take her back and protect her, because this is the courage a man should have. The boy helped Star transform back into human form, and the judge recognized she was a high-level divine beast. She transformed into a 2-headed Drago. She spit 2 moves and the Viking guy was frozen and shattered. Won the victory. He gave the boy all the money and the prize. He thought he was a billionaire, so he didn't need it. But Star told him that was real money, which made him collapse because he didn't keep a little to cover his living expenses. Outside, he then left, and the organizer didn't know who he was. Could he be the Collector 10 or not? But the Collector 10 is female, so probably not. Soo-ji then went to the place where the test for newbies took place. He met 2 other people here, and just Ash introduced himself. This fat friend recognized Soo-jin is the poor student who works part-time, always at school. He is SA and is his classmate. Because Soo-jin always sleeps in class, so it's normal not to know, and the guy over there wants both of them to stop being noisy. But SA thinks they are all newbies, so it's better to cooperate with each other. But the guy over there thinks cooperation is unnecessary. Suddenly, the person who will supervise their test this time is G. She told us the guy's name is Tita. They then came to a tomb. But this place has long been exploited by the people who came before. But the monsters are still left here and continue to breed and then become as crowded as now. The monsters look weak, but they are very fast and quite annoying. Soo-jin knows their mission is to destroy all of these. SA wants to cooperate to fight monsters, but Titan wants them to stop talking and start now. But Jin thinks everything has officially started. From the moment they set foot here, the monsters then rushed and were dealt with by Jin in 1 move. Jin said that when they first entered the game, they will all be given a unique item. That will be their own weepo, and they will kill monsters using those weapons. SA has this bracelet and Titan has a huge glove. Soo-jin only has a scarf. Jin wants them to focus on killing monsters instead of standing and talking, because the monsters also have quite hard armor and physical attacks do almost no damage. Soo-jin tried and found that these guys are indeed quite tough. Jin said that they have to kill the 3-eyed leader because it has the ability to enhance the armor for its teammates. Titan carried the glove, rushed in, punched the leader down, and kept hitting it, because only the teammates are enhanced with armor, but it itself doesn't, so just after a few hits, it was gone. SA noticed Titan's moves were quite familiar, but because the leader was dead, things were easier afterwards. When all that was left was to slash the rest, SA saw Jin perform like that and vowed to dedicate this life to serving her. Meanwhile, at school, the teacher was taking attendance but couldn't find XA. The classmate just noticed because XA wasn't too prominent in class. The monsters afterwards were quickly taken care of, and Susan thought this seemed to be the end of the test. but Jin revealed that their real goal was to defeat her. She threw through the knife, and Titan summoned a special item to block it. Jin dodged, but Zaw's situation was unclear. DN understood the basics of through the previous move. Titan seemed to be wary of her, because he thought that knife had a side effect. SA noticed Titan seemed to have spent a lot of money on the game, so he had those cool skills and items. As for Susan, SA thought she was very poor, so she probably wouldn't have any money to spend, so he would try to spend more. To have the strength and protect Susie, Jin wanted both to get serious, and asked SA to remove the throwing knife from his head. He just realized he had a throwing knife on his head and panicked. Jin asked SA to remove it, and he was a bit scared, but then did as told and fainted on the spot. Jin looked at Jin's equipment and noticed he had a scarf. That was unique. Susan realized Jin had the ability to see other people's equipment. She wanted to see Susan's other equipment, but he refused and said he didn't have anything special. While still suspicious of Jin, Titan charged forward, attacking, and his technique and speed were very fast and not inferior to a seasoned pro like G. SA woke up and recognized Tita as the one who won the tournament, the virtual fighting game 5 years in a row. Titan usually crushed all his opponents with incredible strength and technique, but for some reason, he went missing this year. Even searching SA yielded no information. Titan had always had an aura on stage for many years, until his father forced him to play this game. Against his will, he wanted both of them to help, to deal with Jin quickly, because if they didn't defeat G, they couldn't pass the test. SA felt fate was too cruel when he was forced to fight the goddess of his heart. He, after a moment of deliberation, decided that he would help Titan defeat G to prove his feelings for her. He rushed into the battlefield. Susan also had a cool transformation, but Susan's scarf only gave him the ability to learn the moves of those who had failed, and because no one had fallen on the battlefield at this time, his abilities were quite useless right now. SA used a move and showed Suji the mechanism of this skill was to help him become one with the wind. He would sneak closer to GI to exchange contact information with her. Jin at this time was gradually being overwhelmed by Tita and had to admit he was very strong, but she couldn't let him pass this test. SA was about to attack when Jin suddenly predicted his position and stabbed him. SA passed away and left his last words with Suji. He felt he was indeed not suitable for this game, so he was only happy to have a friend like Suji. He also regretted not being able to pass away on Jin's lap. But when he was logged out of the game, SA boasted to his mother about the fact that he had just made a new friend in the game. Jin at this time understood the nature of the match, that this match was meaningless and Jin was invincible, so Titan would not be able to defeat her. Titan did not accept the fact that someone else could be stronger than him. Therefore, he was truly serious about fighting G. While Jin at this time had learned SA's wind manipulation skill, he flew around to find something. He then found a mine and discovered Jin's real body, because he saw that she had stabbed SA earlier, even though she didn't see him, so she was observing from a different angle. She gave up and let Jin pass the test, and Titan just realized he had been tricked and fought a slime. He was very annoyed because a talented person like him was tricked by this petty trick. Jin had a basic understanding of Jin's abilities, and Tita, who had now found Jin, and both of them had been allowed to pass, and now they were free to form teams with others. Jin was still wondering who Jin really was. He thought they didn't need to know about that. But Titan also wanted to know who he really was, and rushed to attack him, and attacked G, because he was still annoyed at being tricked, so both of them had to run away. Jin thought this was the reason she didn't want Titan to pass the test. Both of them then hid in a basement, and Jin was temporarily unable to fight because after using her power, she needed to wait a while to recharge her energy. Jin asked the reason he saved her. Jin said that he wanted to form a team with G, but she thought he was planning to ask her out on a date, but he wasn't. Google SA called, saying that he had completed the missio, so he didn't need to stay here anymore. But he couldn't leave Jin here and run away first, causing Star to start teasing him. Susan then made a deal that if he could beat Tita, then she would join his team. Just then, Titan broke through the wall and charged Titan blew both of them outside. Titan also wanted to see if he or Susan was stronger. Susan immediately activated SA's wind manipulation ability, and Tita thought what could be done with that useless skill. But if it fell into the hands of someone who knew how to use it, it would be different. Susan turned into wind and circled around Tita to attack him. Then charged, and Titan counterattacked, but was about to get hit. Jin turned into wind to dodge, and simultaneously counterattacked Tita, then stood still to observe. Then threw a punch upwards because he knew he was up there. That hit though. The real Jin was right in front of Tita, and struck his leg, forcing him to step back. Susan had long since dispelled the wind manipulatio and let Titan be tricked by a gust of wind, normal wind. This was a way to manipulate the opponent's psychology. Titan stubbornly charged to attack. But this wound had now become Titan's weakness, and Jin wanted him to admit defeat, but he would never accept defeat. Because of his illusion of being the most elite, he was confident that he was someone who could do anything. So he wouldn't lose to someone like Susie. Before, he won by his own strength, and was slandered by others for using money to buy the whole match. So he asked the slanderer if he liked to come up and fight him. But the crowd started making trouble with Tita, so he didn't hesitate to rush down and have a fight, forcing his family to intervene and pay money to silence them, in order not to cause more bad reputation for the family. He had always had to do as his father said, and now he would do as he pleased, because he believed that there was nothing that money couldn't buy. And this game, in the end, was also using money to exchange for power. Titan, though, used his wealth advantage to spend more in the game in order to increase his strength. His weepo had now transformed and become a vehicle instead of the glove. Meanwhile, we learn more about the leading organization. This organization includes a female assassin and the head of the game development team, so its power is far superior to all others. The game at this point has also become widely popular, and the overlords are gradually being eliminated. This leading organization has individuals who are completely superior compared to other players, and the head of this group is Dark Tiger. He is one of the 5 game billionaires and owns 60 subordinates with a total asset value of over 2 billion. This group is preparing to seize the non-interference zone and is also organizing a festival on the 18th floor. But that festival will be a purge of weak players. They have also eliminated all the Tomb Guardians. Yet suddenly, the Tomb Guardian counter unexpectedly changed to 1, so they believe a new Tomb Guardian has appeared. Dark Tiger, upon hearing about the new Tomb Guardian, immediately ordered to find and kill them at all costs. Meanwhile, Titan has started to get angry and decided to invest 100 million into the car to deal with Jin. He wants to show his father that he is a ruthless person and someone who will win at any cost. But Jin stepped in to shield Ji and wants her to keep her promise to join the team if he wins. But she thinks someone who works part-time like him couldn't possibly have 100 million. Titan also believes so and rushes to hit Jin. But right when the car hit, the car stood straight up into the sky. Titan doesn't believe that a part-timer like Ji has more than 100 million in hand. The car then began to be distorted to the point of being crushed. The car is about to explode, and the more money invested, the greater the explosion. A huge explosion then occurred, and Jin and Jin are still alive, but are trapped under the rocks. Jin thinks that now they just need to log out and back in. Both tried to reach for each other's devices to save information, but the positions are quite far, and they have very little space to move. Just got the device back. Jin wanted Jin to save his information. He knows she has the ability to see the opponent's items, and it's very useful. Therefore, he needs to have Jin on the team right away. Then suddenly, a chariot of the Collector 10 rushed up and freed both of them. Jin felt an incredible pressure emanating from it. She was surprised to meet a guy because Su Jin passed the test here and even had time to flirt with Loli. Jin saw that she seemed to know Su Jin, but he didn't know too much about her. But he also wants to meet her guy to ask some questions, but Jin finds her very dangerous because each person only has one sacred weapon, but she has up to 10. Thanks to that, Jin guessed her identity is one of the $5 billion players, Collector 10. Collector 10 sees Jin has quite good abilities, but is a bit troublesome, so she shot her once and turned Jin into a doll for 2 minutes. Those 2 minutes, she will talk to Su Jin without being disturbed by anyone. She then shot a creature at Su Jin's face, and it went into his mouth. She said that the creature is a sausage dragon. It will be the key for him to find the wire. Ray is currently in Temujin's hand, and he must not believe that story. Temujin's eyes and ears are everywhere, so he needs to be skillful to find a way to take advantage of him. Once he gets to Temujin's place, the dragon will lead him to find the wire. She wants this to be a secret between the two, and he absolutely must not trust Temujin because sooner or later he will come for him. He wants to know what reason he has to trust her. She left. She shot at Temujin's scout to chase him away. Jin is also awake now, and she and Su Jin saw the scout there. This guy's owl wants him to leave because he can't let others find out. Jin looked over and discovered that this guy is extremely strong, and the pair of weapons are dangerous. At the same time, he is also a member of Temujin. Jin wants him to be careful, but he recklessly rushes up. Because he knows this guy has information about the wire, he surprises this guy. Because his speed is quite fast compared to ordinary people, he asked about Jay, and he thinks he has no obligation to answer him. Su Jin's speed is fast, but he is even faster. He then gave him a combo that almost hit him if Jin hadn't arrived in time to block. He started to get annoyed and decided not to let both of them go so easily. He then became invisible, forcing both of them to fight back to back. Jin has agreed to join the team, so she can't let him die so easily. The guy then unleashed a series of attacks like a storm, and a number suddenly appeared on both of their hands, and this seems to be the number of times both of them were hit. Su Jin tried to rush in and use his wind ability to dodge, but he was still hit, and the number kept going up, and then was forced to log out of the game. Jin then understood the mechanism of his ability, and although she blocked the attack, the number still went up and was kicked out of the game. Su Jin then woke up and found himself banned from the game for a day. And Jin is also like him, feeling uncomfortable because he can't get back into the game. Then suddenly, Temujin called to negotiate with him and let him meet Ray again. He threatened him that if Jay is in trouble, he will have to pay the price. He said that he captured Jay to protect her, because Su Jin at this time is not capable enough to keep the wire safe. There will be a festival on the 18th floor, Su, to prepare to conquer the non-interference zone. To conquer the non-interference zone, he should go to that festival and find someone named Case. He doesn't know what that person looks like, but Temujin thinks that he will know when he gets there. He realizes that there is another problem now. Back in that beta version, he was very strong and ranked in the top server, but now in this new game, he still feels that he is still weak. He then met his cat again, and that morning, he saw the group at school surrounding a girl who looked like an elementary school student. He thought this group was Lolicon until he saw her face and realized it was Jin. She called Su Jin, causing the group there to become jealous and throw stones at him. They demanded that he leave because Jin is theirs. He and Jin then went to a restaurant in the school, and he saw Jin carrying a suitcase, so he thought she was planning to stay with him. And Jin saw Su Jin seemed a bit confused and seemed not to want to meet her much. But Su Jin felt worried because, in the game, he is completely a rebellious person, while in real life, he is so obscure that no one pays attention. While Jin is prominent both in the game and in real life, the restaurant staff then asked both of them to order, because both of them have been sitting here for over an hour, and there are still people waiting. The group waiting outside there seems to have recognized Su Jin as the part-timer at school, so he got scared and used the menu to cover his face. Jin also looked at it and ordered all kinds of dishes on the menu, which surprised him. That Jin is small but eats this much. But he is worried about who will pay for this meal. Because he is only rich in the new game, but in real life he is extremely poor and it would be too embarrassing for a man to freeload. Yet suddenly, the staff asked him to pay first and brought out the food. Because the rule here is to pay first and then serve. Suddenly, the group outside there came in and called him poor guy who used to cling to Jay and now is pursuing someone else. After Jay's father passed away, Jin doesn't allow them to insult her leader because he has financial resources in the game up to hundreds of millions. But they want him to prove it by using money in the game to pay. He just found out that those 10 billion can still be used as a type of virtual currency and payment in the real world. You then handed your device to the staff for scanning. And the payment was successful. The staff even said there was so much money in it that the machine couldn't accurately determine how much. You and Jin then went back to the dorm and were called 2 timers by the other guys. When Soo-jin saw the missing wire, she went to find another girlfriend, but you believed that you would rescue her at all costs. Jin noticed that Jay seemed very important to Soo-ji, so she asked, and you said that your relationship with Jay was quite complicated, but you didn't want to drag Jin into Jay's affair because it was quite dangerous. But Jin thought that the 2 of you were now teammates, so she would also help you rescue Jay at all costs. The 2 of you entered the game and reached the 18th floor, which used to be a game level, and after conquering it, it was modified to become like a toe. For players like this, Jin explained to you about this festival, which is to conquer the 0 floor. Anyone can participate, so that's why so many people came, because there is no level limit. So players, whether strong or weak, come to participate, and partly because everyone wants to witness the legendary 0 floor, what it's like. You tried to ask Star for information, but she made Jin misunderstand by not wearing clothes and saying this is Soo-jin's hobby. You got slapped and then went to eat with Ji. Because she hit you earlier, she suffered counter damage and lost a lot of health. You only ordered instant noodles because for poor students like you, this is enough. The people in the shop started talking about the new billionaire player. Susan felt a bit uneasy, so she didn't enjoy eating. Those players ran towards Soo-ji, making him think he had been exposed. And he didn't like being the center of attention, so he intended to tell Jin the truth, but those people ran outside, so he had to change the subject. At this time, a flock of flying penguins appeared in the sky, and they came to give each player a ring to teleport to the final challenge before reaching the 0 floor. You saw the game Admi had gone to this extent, so this was not a simple festival, but Jin was ready to go. So the 2 of them put on the rings and teleported away. The group arrived at the entrance to the 0 floor, and the guy named Dag Tiger revealed, this game is just to turn players into pawns. The monsters of this floor then appeared, and he didn't want to lose too many pawns, so he told his subordinates to clear out all the monsters in one move, and it was indeed a move with immense power that made the monster swarm evaporate. The boss has now appeared. A pool of blood was created, and the boss emerged from that pool of blood. The boss of this floor is named Arslan. The person named Case that Susan is looking for also appeared at this time with the Asasi that Susan encountered last time. She wants to meet the person Temujin instructed her to as soon as possible and doesn't like waiting, so she used a mirror and teleported straight to Suzy. You noticed at this time that this boss can recover based on the pool of blood on the arena floor. Suddenly, that girl Case fell straight onto your head. She just arrived and saw that you seem to be Suzy, that Temujin is looking for. Susan doesn't know who she is, but Jin noticed that she is quite strong and advised you to be careful. She then showed Susan that Jay is still okay through the mirror. You tried to run to call Jay, but she almost didn't hear. She is busy worrying about the unfinished business outside. Just as she turned away, she suddenly heard Susan's voice. But after a few words, Case turned off the mirror and wanted to test your strength. Because Temujin thought you were a formidable opponent, but she didn't believe that. Meanwhile, the boss, Arslan, is slaughtering the weak players below to search for the suitable blood type that he wants. He thinks these weaklings are not worth his time, so he used a summoning spell. The players looked down at the pool of blood and saw something coming. One guy recognized this scene as very similar to a horror movie and was immediately dealt with. It turned out that Arslan had summoned a swarm of mosquitoes for them to suck the player's blood, and that blood would return to him. He vowed not to let anyone set foot in this tomb. However, he still hadn't found the blood type he needed. But he suddenly noticed Susan's aura over there. And there was no mistaking it. You are the one he is looking for. Case has seen enough strength from you, so she agreed to leave and told you, you need to enter the 0 floor to find out everything. But you think that the 0 floor only opens for a certain period of time. But she corrected that. You only need to have the key to freely enter and exit the 0 floor. Suddenly Arslan came, and he said he has been looking for Susan for a long time to carry out the task he was assigned. He then shrunk his weapon and handed it to you. It is the key to enter the 0 floor. But he then suddenly transformed into form 2 to challenge you. He showed you the weak point in his abdomen, and this is your sealed memory. This memory was sealed by your own grandfather, and you didn't expect your weird old ma would actually seal your memory in the abdomen of a boss when you enter the 0 floor. Then all the memories will be unlocked. You accept the challenge, and Arslan immediately attacked. Kate took Jin away for you to fight. Susie noticed that the artifact given to the tomb guardian, like him, has up to 7 forms and 7 different abilities. You're still not clear about the use of each type, so you tried using one. You then took out a sword. That increased your speed by 3 times and slashed at Afka twice, causing him to fall into the pool of blood to recover. You tried to finish him off, but hit his head, so he countered and pushed you back. He then grew larger thanks to the pool of blood. He is not only bigger, but can also shoot more powerful fireballs. Susie realized that he not only grew bigger and recovered, but also became much stronger. You still tried to charge, but got hit and suffered a curse from Arsenal. Your sword also cracked. He gave you 80 seconds to defeat him before the curse takes effect and makes your blood explode. The sword is now broke, and it suddenly emitted a cloud of smoke to heal all the players. You want Arslan to use his strongest move when there is a chance, so he didn't hesitate and summoned a Drago. Flying into the sky, Susie guessed it would be a tornado, so she rushed to Arslan and gave him a sword strike. The other players also came to support Susie, but they were all blown away by Arslan one by one. But Arslan had to suck back blood to recover. Immediately after, he threw the whole dragon at the players. Although Susan was blown away by it, he was still alive. Arslan thinks you are still too weak and not worthy of being a tomb guardia. You admit he is too strong, and you can't win by fighting Arslan head-on, wanting to finish him off when there is a chance. But suddenly, he shattered and didn't understand why. Then Case and Susan came to explain. You understand clearly that you can't fight head-on, so when this sword broke, you had an idea that the smoke emitted from the sword is oxygen. And when it breaks, oxygen will be released and fill the arena. And his body is made of blood, and it has a lot of iron. So when it comes into contact with oxygen, they will oxidize and then rust. You attack continuously to make Osla absorb more rusted blood into his body for recovery. But the reason he shattered, it's because you tricked him into using the Drago to surround everything with electricity and turned oxygen into toxic oxygen and made the iron rust and crumble. Many people started talking about Susie, and you asked Arslan about how to use the seal. He told you to just go to the 0 floor and you'd know how to use it. But Susan at this time was wondering about what would happen to Arslan when you win there. He said that he didn't need your pity. If he loses, then he will disappear and his mission will also end. Oh, you just need to bring him and the seal to the 0 floor, and his duty will officially end. You at this time also wondered why there aren't any high-level players here. Besides Dag Tiger, you suspected that the high-level guys seemed to be lurking and about to attack you. And it was true, because if you didn't defeat Arslan so quickly, then the one who fell here at this time would probably be you. Case noticed the strong guys at this time are going around massacring the other weak players, and estimated that currently 10 million players have logged out one after another. They see Arslan as just a boss to fight at any time, so they are fighting each other for the right to occupy and attack. But they didn't expect that Susan defeated Arslan so quickly. He admitted that those guys are indeed very strong, so he had to quickly find you to complete the missio before someone else snatches it. You feel like you've become the hated one. So one way or another, someone will be targeting you soon, so you are forced to bring the core to the 0th floor gate as soon as possible. Just after saying that, a group came to snatch the core from Susie. They think that you only got the boss by luck, but your skills are probably just amateur. They blatantly hit people, so you think this group is definitely a gang. You ask for Arslan's head back, and the ringleader of this group returned it to you, and even brazenly walked past and made a harassing remark to Case, making her also want to beat him up. He turned back with his gang and started shouting their slogan, then demanded that Susan hand over the core. You know this is a fight you can't avoid, so you ask her to keep Arslan for a moment. That guy shot a sneak attack, and luckily Susan dodged it. He even intended to add 1 million to the staff to launch an even stronger attack. He even showed off his 5 million power staff. And the gang also competed to show off with each person 1 million. So Su Jin decided to show them what a real power staff is. Actually, you asked how to show off, and then revealed the power staff nearly 10 billion long. Everyone around was shocked, because you are indeed a multi-billion player. But the ringleader still seemed calm and intended to call the big boss, but was punched in the face by Case and flew away. She didn't want to waste any more time, so she sucked both Zin and Susan away. She brought both of them to the gate, and now you will use the key that Arslan gave to open it, because only the key holder can enter. So Arslan also went along to guide. You arrived at a tree and felt quite nostalgic. Arslan pointed out to you that eat his core to regain your memories. While outside there, the ringleader from earlier received a call from the big boss, and this big boss wants to know who stole his boss. While Susan remembered that your grandfather before had once brought you to this tree and saw the wires in it. Ray used to be a guardia, but he let the tree absorb all of her power and transferred it into the tomb to free her from this fate. She also lost her memories, and it was here that Jay and Susan first met. He then also had to seal your memories to prevent you from being targeted by his enemies. He also used this fruit to create Astra, and gave Astra the duty to awaken Susan when the time comes. And now the duty is over, so he will hand over all the power to you. All the players who participated in the boss fight were given money, so everyone was happy to have participated. As for the big boss, at this time he heard that the boss was taken by a multi-billion player, so he told his gang to spill the address. He knew the location was the entrance to the 0th floor, so he fired an extremely powerful shot towards that direction. Jin at this time noticed that Su Jin had successfully defeated Arslan, but Case thought that being the boss layer would make you a target for many other strong guys, and that shot had arrived at this time, and its power was immeasurable. Right as the two girls were about to get hit, Su Jin stepped out and blocked the attack with one hand. Just now, Case saw that you seemed to have acquired some good equipment. The ringleader at this time turned pale when you were still unharmed, while Zin wondered why you were still okay. It was thanks to Arslan's blood armor. This armor can increase your HP, equal to the HP of all the players who participated in the boss fight. Like the attack just now took away a fifth of the HP bar, so it was indeed strong. The big boss at this time heard that Su Jin was still unharmed and was extremely impressed. He felt like it had been a long time since he was this interested, so he will come. As for the girls below everyone was asking for Su Jin's phone number. Case revealed that this scene was originally set up by the high-level guys to lure the weak ones and wipe them all out in order to steal their power. Because it's over now, she wants Susan to go see Temujai, but you want to know if Zay is okay before going. She decided to be generous and let Su Jin meet his crush, a guy. You are not allowed to let Day know about what happened here. You got to see Day still safe. And she was also able to meet Su Jin, a guy she believes he will come to save her. and she will still wait for you, like the last day of that trial game, and you are confident that this time you'll save her and not let the past repeat, because you are no longer as weak as before. Ray was then disconnected, and the person standing near her said, "In 5 days, there will be another event happening, and she will meet Suzjin there, a guy, if you are still alive to make it to the event." Suzin at this time knew that Case was in the same group, on the same boat with you, because both of you have a common enemy, which are those who want to conquer the 0 floor. Meanwhile, the Darktiger group realized that the plan was a bit off from the expected, because the person who defeated Arsland was stronger than they thought. And that monkey guy had also taken action to deal with the person who stole his boss. Someone felt indignant because that guy was ignoring the rules, but Dark Tiger let him act freely, because they also couldn't control that monkey guy. Sujin at this time was preparing to leave, when suddenly, he rushed straight towards the other players. He wanted to know who stole his boss. Susan knew this guy wasn't good, but Case wanted you to leave immediately. Many other players recognized this guy as one of Dark Tiger's subordinates, Gyoku. He summoned a golden monkey to block the way, letting anyone run away, intending to massacre everyone, forcing Sujin to speak up, but he ignored it, because he still does it, as long as he feels happy. Case has prepared the gate, and wants you to leave. Jin also wants you to just tell his name, but he took the chance to act recklessly and insult Suji, and then turned back to continue the massacre. You intended to selfishly leave, but remembering Jay's words, you couldn't abandon things just like that and turn away. You want Ray to wait for you a moment, and jumped towards Gyoku. He thought you were also tired of living, so he had the gun ready to fire straight at Suji. But the masked guy from last time had to rush in and deflect the shot from that attack to keep you alive. Case revealed that his name is Oppo, and is one of Temujin's 8 guards. Like her. Then also came and treated Sujin's hand, because he is one of the rare people to have earned the title of doctor. The name Gyoku felt happy, so he demanded a decisive battle with everyone, but Purple thought he alone was enough to take him down. The two sides immediately charged at each other at breakneck speed. The monkey guy had speed equal to Purple, but his strength was much greater. He also noticed the number and knew this thing was problematic, so he unleashed a devastating blow on the ground, causing Purple to fly up and be unable to dodge the shot he was about to fire. He noticed that every time he was touched, the number increased, so from now on, he will try not to be touched. However, he also regretted not knowing what would happen when this number went too high, because Oppo was certainly gone after his last hit. But Oppo was saved, because 2 other guards of Temujin came to help. A group of magicians named Bak and a tree controller named Non-Det are tying up that golden monkey. Non-Det seems to be a real chill guy when he calmly sits and drinks tea in the middle of the battle. The name Gyoku did not expect there to be so many humans rarely gathered here, so he revealed that he only had 1 point left to become a billionaire player, but he cannot just get there so easily. DAC Tiger's subordinates at this time are quite worried, because Gyoku has wanted to take DAC Tiger's position many times, but Dag Tiger still seems indifferent. Gyoku at this time has grown larger and turned the stick into a machine gun and sprayed a series of bullets at Sujin's group. The magician, although erecting an ice wall, but he knew it would not last long. Non-Det now cannot chill anymore, but is forced to use tree roots to wrap around the second layer of defense. But they understand clearly these tree roots will not be able to withstand too much. Susan does not know why this Gyoku cannot reach the billionaire player level. The magician Bak tells him that you need to achieve a certain rare title to level up, like Oppo to get the title of doctor. Then you have to make 10,000 bottles of medicine. As for Non-Det, this is to learn all the elemental spells to mastery. As for the title to reach 1 billion, few people know clearly, because there are only Dark Tiger and the Collector 10 are the 2 people who understand the most about the title that Gyoku is aiming for. He once defeated hundreds of high-level people, but still did not achieve it, so now he believes that as long as you defeat another billionaire player, you can get that title. So he tried to take Susie's life. This high-level title has the power to break the game's limits, so he understands why the Collector 10 has up to 10 artifacts. He then wondered about what his Gravitiger title brings. Then suddenly, Non-Det realized the firepower stopped, so Case went to check. She knows that Guy needs 3 minutes to reload, but once reloaded, the firepower will be multiplied by 6. Therefore, these are their last 3 minutes. Susan heard, but still does not know his title. Can bring what ability? Because he was given the title, but not the information about it. He decided to try and use the power from the scarf. That guy has now reloaded his energy and started firing. Both the tree and the tree defense layer have been taken down, but when the bullets ran out, no one fell. Su Jin said he used the enhanced power. Eyes from the scarf. It allows him to see the light reflected in the eyes. To get informatio. From that, he can read the opponent's informatio, and his shadow will also help him dodge. But short-term attacks. But Gyoku still does not give up and says the shell casings are all bombs. But Case is tired of fighting like this and gives him the fighting chance he wants. That is to fight Temujai. He then accepts the compromise because if he wins against Temujai, then he will also reach the billionaire player title and take control of Temujin's entire association. She then took the whole group to Temujin's castle. And the movie ends here. Very sorry because the author of this movie has passed away. So the movie was forced to end and finished like this. But even if it is a pity, we still have to say goodbye here.